Good evening. I'm just enjoying my inhaler of my favorite calming essential oils, which is another stress buster break that you can do anytime. You can carry this anywhere with you. Yeah, I had to go searching for this because this was in my purse. Yeah. So I would imagine, trying to remember what's in this one for me. This is Peace and Calming, Valor, of course, Lavender. I think I put Harmony in it. Anyway, I make up whatever concoction comes to mind for my calming oils. So I'm just going to stay here, bask in this wonderful, because as you may or may not know, inhaling calming essential oils goes to the brain in the limbic system like in 20 seconds, like almost instantly. And it instantly calms the limbic system, which is your emotional part of your brain. And listening to calming music can be a stress buster break that you can do anytime. Okay, we got a few people pop on. I'm going to tip that down just a little bit more, if it will. I'm not sure if it'll go. Oh, a little bit. Just gotta be careful not to go too much because we will be standing. Yes, it's Fascia night. It's Fascia night. Oh, that smells so good. Let's just turn this a little bit. There we go. A couple more whiffs. I don't want to let it put it down. I actually have one of these beside my bed too. And if I wake up in the middle of the night and I get the monkey brain or stuff going on in my head, I grab that and away you go. So anyway, essential oils. You can use them as an inhaler. Alrighty. Welcome to day 8. Oh my goodness, we are getting close to the end. Day 8 of 9 and feeling fine. Day 8 of 9 and feeling fine. And we will be doing a distance treatment at the end. So we'll put up the waiver. I'll be scanning your fascia and any areas that I feel those tangled balls of yarn. We will open them up and clear them so that you feel hopefully a lot freer and maybe a little less pain. And as I mentioned, it's fascia night. And fascia is definitely fascinating. Yes, it is. I think many of you have heard me say this, that fascia is connective tissue. And in the early days of dissection, I've never dissected, only on videos I've watched, but they tell me in early days, fascia used to be just, they're cutting out the muscles, they're checking the organs, they're checking the bones, and the fascia they used to just drop on the floor and never really paid attention to it. But nowadays, there are worldwide congresses and conferences on fascia. They now realize how amazing it is. So as I like to do every night, I like to do a little review of why we are here. We are here to hopefully free up your dysfunctional nervous system. So what are the causes of emotional dysregulation or a dysfunctional nervous system? Some of the things you might have: attachment issues, some past trauma. Maybe you come from a household that has a lot of conflict. Maybe you've had a traumatic brain injury. You have relationship conflicts or difficulties. You have unprocessed grief. You have school or work failures. All of these can lead to a dysfunctional nervous system. And I like to also review the polyvagal theory each night, because this truly describes the reason why you're in what's called dorsal vagal, or highly into a dysfunctional nervous system. Now this chart sort of goes like the ladder, in that the dorsal vagal is on the bottom. So ventral vagal at the top, that's your optimal. That's when you communicate well, you're present, you feel safe, you're able to be social, you're connected, you're engaged, you're at ease, you're passionate, you're grounded. It decreases your defense responses, and it increases digestion, immune response, rest, oxytocin, which is your feel-good hormone, ability to connect and learn. So ventral vagal at the top is the most ideal level or area that you want your nervous system in. Now your sympathetic part of the polyvagal theory, that's your mobilization for fight or flight. As I said, you have to slam on your brakes of the car very quickly due to reacting something. You will pop up into sympathetic, and that is okay. You need to do that. You need to have that ability to have that adrenaline rush, your heart rate increase in order to have that fight or flight, whatever you need to do to get out of that danger area. The problem is, as we've said this over and over, is when you stay in here. And that happens due to multiple traumas, multiple anxiety issues, multiple issues that have happened, multiple things that have created problems for you. And your nervous system has not been able to come back up to ventral vagal, which is the most optimum. So when you end up staying in sympathetic a lot, you will drop down, or some of the other charts have you go up into what's called dorsal vagal. And at dorsal vagal, your emotions are shut down, you're often disassociated, you feel hopeless, you feel helpless, you often live in a lot of shame, despair, you're just depressed. And it's in this point, this dorsal vagal, that you'll often feel the most symptoms of a dysregulated nervous system. Like I said, it's wonderful to come in and out of ventral vagal and the sympathetic, that's normal. But unfortunately, we tend to get into sympathetic, we stay there, and all of a sudden your nervous system can't take it anymore, and it drops down into dorsal vagal, which is where you become just totally immobile. So if you're dealing with that, and I know a lot of people are, I know I was, if you're in dorsal vagal, you need regular stress buster breaks throughout the day. Self-care is important, and it's wonderful to do it either in the first of the day or the end of the day, but you need those stress buster breaks throughout the day. And I've been giving you little tidbits that you can do, and let's share a few of those right now. I already started off with your essential oils and smelling them and listening to calming music. Those are all things that you can do anywhere. You're driving in the car, you can take your little inhaler, smell it, you can listen to calming music. So some other things that you can do, you can massage your ears, all right? So you just take your ears and you just try that now. Just massage your ears. It's very calming, and you just work whatever. Just give yourself a little self-massage of the ears. A little different than the one we did the first, was it the first night? I can't remember. No, with the vagus nerve. A little different from that. This is definitely a massage of the ears. It's a wonderful little stress buster break. Feels quite nice. Yes, it does. Oh, yeah, it just takes any tension. You can give them a little tug. Yeah, it takes any tension away from those suboccipitals that are behind the ears, the back of the neck that get really tight and cranky, and then you're definitely struggling with a nervous system issue. All right, another thing you can do is blow a candle. Now, I don't like real candles because they make me a little nervous, so I have these ones. I know you can't see that, that's because of in the light, but that's lit. These are these battery-operated candles, and you can get ones that really look like a candle. So the battery is making the pretend wick flip back and forth. But you can just pretend you're blowing out a candle right now. Just inhale, hold your breath, and then exhale, blowing out the candle. And inhale, and hold your breath, and blow out the candle. You can actually imagine that you're blowing out your birthday candles, all kinds of, or you can blow out balloons, whatever you feel like you want to do. All righty, so those are our stress busters for tonight. Let's move on to fascinating fascia. Now, as I said, fascia is connective tissue all throughout your body. This is a very simplified illustration of what fascia looks like. And if you, this is what it more looks like. It's just like this, all this web all around you. It would be lovely if it was this organized, but it's not. And it needs to be free. This, even though this looks a little chaotic, I don't see any clumps, any tangle balls. There might be a couple there that I'm noticing right now. But the majority of it does not have any clumps, and obviously there's no scar tissue there to irritate the fascia. So understanding fascia, as I said, it's connective tissue. It affects every part of your body. It surrounds and supports every organ, every muscle, and every part of your body. It's the lubricant that keeps your body moving. If you suffer from chronic pain, it's likely that that chronic pain, if it's not a vertebrae that's out of position, or it's not a clavicle that's stuck, or it's not this, it's not a structural issue. But as we all know, that organs, if they're not in the right place, can cause you pain. But generally, when you've had all that treated and you're still dealing with chronic pain, it's probably fascia. And one way, many ways to help your fascia is movement is so important. And we're going to get up here in just a few minutes and do some movement. Not a fitness class, don't worry, we're just going to work our fascia. Stretching, stay hydrated, more on that later. Using little tools to do some fascial release. I'll talk about that a bit. And myofascial massage. All those really do work with your fascia and helping it. Now, another thing I'd like to just show you a couple pictures. This is an illustration. Again, you see that webbing. The top of it is kind of illustrating skin and a little bit adipose tissue. And this would be a muscle bundle right here. And you see that webbing in between? That's fascia. That is fascia. And it looks very chaotic, but it's amazingly organized and amazingly connected. And this is what it looks like under a microscope. We have this wonderful researcher. I can't pronounce his name. I will make a mess of it. Anyway, I've heard him talk, and it was quite fascinating to have a workshop by him. And he is a doctor in France who took an endoscope. Now, endoscope is the thing that doctors go down your throat and they check your digestive system. So he did an endoscope, obviously with permission, in people's wrists. And he went up and took videos and pictures of what fascia looks like. You can see it's like a webbing. It looks very chaotic, but it's not. It's amazingly organized and amazingly how it connects and talks to each of these fibers. You also might notice the glistening there. That is collagen. And you also notice that, also with that, you should hopefully notice that it needs to be hydrated. Water is crucial for fascial issues to be resolved. Water is crucial. All right, and a very quick illustration of what healthy fascia might look like. Again, very basic. As you can tell, it doesn't quite represent this, but it's kind of telling you what, in a very simple terms, what healthy fascia is like and what unhealthy fascia is like. It's tangled, it's filled with adhesions, but healthy fascia, even though it looks chaotic, is free moving, freely moving. Now, when it gets like this, when it gets all tangled up, the issue becomes it squishes things. It squishes arteries, it squishes nerves. And when that happens, you're not a happy camper. That causes pain, right? So that requires treatment. We can do a lot of self-treatment, but it requires your osteopath, your massage therapist can help with that as well. Some of the reasons why fascia gets unhealthy, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see, oh yeah, I guess you can be able to see this. Bad mechanics. We're going to check that out here in a second. Just having issues in the tissues that make you either rotate right, rotate left, or side bend, or whatever, and your body is fighting that. Unaddressed fascial issues, old injuries, mental stress, absolutely, emotional stress. We're going to talk about that later. Sugar. Yep, sugar. If you get off sugar, you're going to make a big difference to your fascia because sugar is very, very inflammatory. Dehydration is a big, big one. Patients come into the clinic and I can tell right away when they're dehydrated because I can't seem to move their fascia like I want to. An unbalanced microbiome. So your gut, yes, your gut, if it's unhealthy, it'll affect your fascia. Poor diet, any genetic predisposition to it. High impact exercise, yeah, that I don't have a big problem with that if you're able to handle it. But if you're not because you've got other issues, yes, that will flare things up. Being immobile, big time, will definitely affect your fascia. And being exposed to toxins. And that's why when you make your inhaler with essential oils, make sure they're toxin free. And a lot of those cheap ones are full of chemicals. So once you're dealing and breathing in and applying chemicals to your body, your poor fascia says, okay, I give up. Alrighty. before we go on to the next thing, which is trigger points, let's get up and move our fascia. All right? I'll put my music back on, just nice and soft. Now, the key with fascia is to not produce the movement. Allow the movement. So soften the knees. I'm in bare feet because I want to connect to the floor. Soften the knees and just close your eyes because I know what you're looking at me. I want you to explore and experience your fascial movement. Where does your fascia want to take you? Think of the entire body. Don't think of just body parts. Think of the entire body. Because with fascia, everything is connected. Everything is connected. So soft knees, and just let your body, where does it want to go? So mine wants to go a little bit here. It wants to turn a little bit. And that's it. I don't feel any other movement that seems to want to come. But kind of tune into my neck. Yeah, I'm side bent. But a big one is kind of side bent over this way and rotating. Okay? You may feel rotated. Oops. I think I need to move the camera back a little bit because I'm knocking down my pictures. I'll just, you know what my feet look like. You don't need to see them. All right? So here we go. Find whatever position you're in and try to remember that. Now, let's clear that with a fascial release. If you need to lean against a wall because your balance is the best, go ahead, but you're going to need your hands. So you're going to take your right foot and you're going to cross it over your left. Let's see. Right foot crossed over your left. All right? Take your right arm. Now I'm not using my real right. I'm doing my mirror image. Take your right arm and put it underneath your left armpit. Put your left arm on top. Rotate your body to the right. Turn your head to the left. Eyes look left. Tongue in your right cheek. Now with every breath, as you exhale, you're going to pull a little bit more to the right and turn your head to the left. Going to do 3 breaths. Deep breath in. Exhale. Deep breath in. Exhale. Good. Come on out of it. And you'll feel a little wonky because you've only done one side. Now we're going to do the other side. Take your left foot over right. Again, you can lean against the wall if you need to. Take your left arm. Put it underneath your right armpit. Take your right arm. Put it on top. Rotate your body to the left. Turn your head to the right. Eyes look right and tongue in your left cheek. Now, with every exhale, you're going to pull a little bit more to the left and you're going to turn your head a little more to the right. Deep breath in. Exhale. Pull and turn. Deep breath in. Exhale, pull and turn. One more. Deep breath in. Pull and turn. Good. Come on out of it and walk around a little bit. Just walk around a little bit. Now, let's retest. Let's see if we're still in that same position. All right. So knees soft. I'm just going to tune into my body. So it still wants to do a little side bend, but hardly nothing like it was in the beginning. So basically, I have reset the fascia, whatever, why it was side bent like that and rotated, who knows? Could be surgeries, could be past falls, past traumas, whatever, who knows? Doesn't matter. But I have cleared a lot of that. Because if I'm like this, I'm obviously not going to walk down the road like that. So I'm going to stand up straight and I'm going to walk, but my body wants to be in that, so I'm pulling all day long. That can be very fatiguing. Huh, makes you quite tired. Yeah. All right. Now, also fascia is, according to Thomas Myers, he discovered that fascia can work in what's called fascial lines or fascial chains, that it kind of links together. Now, these aren't muscles that are connected to one another. So we're going to do, I'm going to hit this. Turn your toes in. I'm going to turn sideways. Turn your toes in. Bring your arms up. Lean back. Now, don't go take yourself into any pain. Go with your limit, work within your limitations. Okay, double chin, eyes gaze down, externally rotate the hands like that, and turn the toes in. So this is stretching or opening or normalizing the anterior chain, anterior. Okay? Now, posterior, we're going to bend at the hips, not the waist. Not like that. Stick your derriere out. Bend forward as far as you're comfortable. Keep your double chin. And hold it, because now you're normalizing the posterior chain. Now to come back up, you squeeze your glutes to bring you up. Careful that you're not going to lift with your back. Good. So that's the posterior chain. That runs from the bottom of your feet all the way up your back, right up to your forehead here. So you want to make sure that that's free. So now we go on to the lateral chains on the side. Turn the toes in again. I hope you can see me, but I don't know if I can barely see that. Externally rotate each arm. We're going to go towards the left, and we're going to stretch the right side first. So take the right arm up, bring the left arm in front, keep the arm externally rotated, and tip over. Just go as far as you're comfortable. Careful you're not bending forward or arching back. Just take it to there. Feel that release all the way down to your foot. From your hand down to your foot on this right side. And come on up. Let's do the other side. Make sure the arm's externally rotated. Pull the wrists back. That engages the fascial tension to open up these fascial lines. Breathe into it. Good. And the last two are spiral chains. So we're going to do the right one first. You're going to lift your right heel. Again, I'm not sure if you can see me. Externally rotate the arms. Take your left hand behind you. Your right arm comes up. Lift the right heel. Rotate. Okay? Don't push it. Don't force it. Just take it to where you feel tension. Wait till that softens, and then you may be able to go a little bit more. And release. Let's do the other side. Lift the left heel. Externally rotate the arms. Never push through pain. Go with your whatever issues that you have. Work within those limitations that you may or may not have. So lifting the left heel, take your right hand behind you. Rotate to the left. Or to the right, sorry. Spiral chain on the left. Very nice. Now another thing that you could do, and this could be a stress buster break. Yeah, just takes a minute. Any of those stretches could be as well. But say you're just at home and you're feeling a little tight and tired, just let your body unwind. Now this takes practice, because in the beginning you'll want to do something. You'll want to push your body here, there. It's about allowing rather than producing. So you don't have to turn your toes in, you don't have to do anything, just soften the knees and let your body roll around and do whatever it wants to do. If you are truly following your body rather than producing the movement, it will not take you into any area that gives you pain or discomfort. All right? It'll just take you to where your body is saying, I'd love to have this unwound a little bit. I'd love to have this normalized. Again, you're not following me, you're following yourself. And you just do it until you feel like you don't need to do it anymore. Don't forget the head. And it's just called an unwinding. You just allow the body to unwind. As I said, the most difficult part of this is to let go. And let go and let your body show you the movement it wants to do, rather than producing the movement. There we go. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And another deep breath in. Good. Nice. All right, let's get down to some specifics. So, you know when you go to the massage therapist and they find those very sticky sore spots and you go, oh, oh, that hurts a little bit. Those are called trigger points. And trigger points are like, the way I describe it to patients, it's like gum caught in your hair, but it's in your muscle and your fascia. And it kind of, they produce what are called referred pain. But when you press on the point, they're quite painful, and they cause a shortening of the muscle fiber. They cause a clumpness or an adhesion in the fascia, and they also cause referred pain. So if you, this is your trapezius muscle, and you can see that white dot. They're usually not that big. If they're that big, you've got some major problems. They're usually about the size of a pea. At any rate, so your therapist will work on that trigger point because that causes referred pain. All right? And this is another illustration of trigger points. This kind of a up-close picture of muscle fiber when it's all kind of clumped together. It makes a contracted knot. And then the healthy tissue is the straight lines. The continuously contracted knot in the muscle fiber stops blood flow at the trigger point, starving the tissue of oxygen and nutrients. Metabolic waste and toxins build up in the area, causing pain, tension, and a spasm in the muscle. So make sure I'm centered. So it's kind of a cycle here. You've got a spasm, you've got tightness, you've got reduced blood flow. And anytime you have reduced blood flow, you're going to have a buildup of wastes. And when you have a buildup of waste, now you got trouble. All right? So what are some ways to release trigger points? There's all kinds out there. Of course, your massage therapist, your osteopath, they do great jobs at those. But what can you do at home? Well, my absolute favorite is the massage gun. Yes, sirree. I wouldn't leave home without it. In fact, I have a travel one that I'm going to travel with when I go down south. And you just basically go through your muscles, your fascia, whatever. And when you get a spot that's quite sore, you just stay with it. And if you really tune into it, it'll push you away. The body will push the massage gun away when it says that's enough, move on, go to a different spot. And when you're using a massage gun, the only place you wouldn't do it is the back of your neck. Anywhere else is pretty fair game. If you're on a bone, the massage gun will just kind of bounce off. So move off onto some fleshy tissue. Now, there's also back in the day, those that used to come here for fitness, you know the stick. And the stick you just rub on any little sore spots, back and forth. It's great for cellulite. Yes, it does. Because what is cellulite? It's a whole whack of trigger points. It's just fascia clumped up together. Now, there are things out there, I don't know what they're called, fascial blaster or something like that. And they look like a claw. No. Don't get those kind of things. That is just damaging to your fascia. Now, fascia is very strong, but it's also, it's also very delicate. And any tool that you use should not be harder than your tissue. For example, I know a lot of people do foam rolling. Those foam rollers are very hard. And when you put all your body weight on those foam rollers, you're actually producing harm. I know. My son will say, oh yeah, Mom, I'm on my foam roller and I got my lacrosse ball and I'm using my golf ball on my foot. No. Way too hard. They need to have a little give. Not so much give that there's nothing there, but some give. Okay, so I have some examples here. This one I bought at CanFit years ago, and it's my little roller that I use, and you can blow it up. It's air. So when I'm rolling on it, it works, but it's got some give to it. This is a myofascial ball. It's a kit that I bought many years ago, and I use this instead of a hard ball because it's got a little give to it. And I can use it on my back, or I can use it on my shoulder, or whatever, my glutes. Now I came up with a little kit, and I find that a pool noodle works better than a foam roller. Now, I know when John uses it, he squishes it and he can't roll very well. So it may work for you, it may not. But the other thing that you can try is, get rid of some stuff, I got too many things in my hand. A tennis ball, but again, it needs to have give. If it's a hard tennis ball, no. And you can find lots of videos on how to roll and work on those areas, and on your shoulders and your neck. And then a really good one for your feet are these little balls, little bouncy balls, again, that have give to it. And when you're doing your feet, remember you're affecting the posterior fascial chain, because that posterior fascial chain runs up your foot. So you can get a lot of benefit by just doing your feet and your hands with that little ball. Yeah. So, I have them here at the clinic, but you could probably get them at any dollar store. Great little tools to have. Just make sure you're not using golf balls or anything super hard. Okay, and guess what? Guess what else releases trigger points? Aha, my new toy. So I found one just before I came down in my left arm, it's my right, but it's my left arm. There it is, right there. And so I'll turn it on. It's called a dolphin because it sounds like a dolphin. You hear it go higher? That means I'm on a trigger point. And I'm just going to hold it, and the green light went off that you can't see. And I can feel it in my hand releasing, because this wrist is tight on me, because this is the arm I broke, so there's lots of trigger points there. And you just hold it 20 seconds or so, and then you move on. And I don't feel that anymore. I know. Quite happy with my little dolphin. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alrighty, moving on. What are some? I think that's everything that I wanted to show you for trigger point release. I mean, there's all kinds of gadgets out there, but keep that as a rule. It needs to be some kind of, whatever it's made of, can't be harder than your tissue. And you don't want to be, pressing so hard that it causes problems. With your massage therapist, hopefully you have a massage therapist or an osteopath. Osteopaths usually can. You need to dialogue with the tissue. So that means when you find a trigger point, there's one right there. I can feel it, feels like a little pea underneath my finger. Also, when I press on it, it hurts. So I'm not going to push really hard. I'm going to just place. I just want to make sure that, okay, I want to make sure that nobody's saying, oh yeah, okay, thank you. I'll look at these later. I just want to make sure someone's saying, I can't hear you, or it's going black, or whatever. Anyway, I just push a little bit, I connect. And then I just press, and as it moves around, I move my hand with it, I follow it. I'm dialoguing. It's almost like I'm dancing with it. And as it releases, I'm going to push a little more, and a little more, and a little more, and a little more. And it shouldn't hurt. A little bit, but it should not be painful. If you're getting myofascial release and it's painful, they are doing it wrong. They're not dialoguing. You need to find another therapist, because it shouldn't hurt a little bit, but not. I was working on a patient. I was working a trigger point in his trap, and I was using my thumb, and I was dialoguing. I was looking for the passage. They call it the passage, and finding my way. And he said, you could push a lot harder. I'm not even feeling this. And I said, my thumb is already halfway in your trap. He couldn't believe it, because there was no pain. I wasn't forcing it. I was dialoguing. And when you do fascial release on yourself, make sure you dialogue. Another thing you can do is called oscillating. You take your hand like that, and you just oscillate. Back and forth, up and down, round and round. Just oscillate anytime you have an area. And this is not, again, difficult. It shouldn't be painful, but you're just breaking up those adhesions with what's called oscillating. Okay? Now, none of that works. None of it works if you are not hydrated. Hydration is key. So key. And people often ask me, how much water do I drink? Ideally, half your body weight in water. Half your body weight in liters of water. All right? I know that's a lot. That's a lot. Liters or glasses? Yeah, glasses. Liters. That would be way too much. Oh my God, you'd be floating. Sorry about that. But just to notice that your body is made 70% water. And these are some down at the bottom here. No, it's not really easy to see. But 75% of your brain requires water. 90% of your lungs require water. 24% of your bones require water. 85% of your blood has water. 80% of your skin has water. 75% of your muscles have water and fascia. So you know when you're dehydrated because your skin doesn't feel as supple and as soft. Dehydration is probably the biggest reasons why people have fascial problems. Now, how to hydrate? There's all kinds of different ways. People say, I just can't drink that much water. Well, find ways that work for you. You can make ice cubes up with just a little tiny bit of orange juice or lemonade. Again, sugar is the issue, so try to find ones that you're making on your own that doesn't have sugar in it. But using electrolytes, really good. Anytime you're sweating lots, you need electrolytes. This is my favorite electrolyte. This is Young Living Grapefruit Bergamot. You can get Emergency and put that in your water. Emergency. Stay away from Gatorade and those others because they have sugar in them. And you don't want to be putting aspartame in your body either. Then your body has to deal with that. My biggest thing I find is to sip throughout the day. Sip throughout the day. So I have this on my desk in my clinic. And every time I'm treating someone, and every time I get up and move to a different location, I take a sip. And then I take a bunch of gulps in between patients. It works best when you're sipping throughout the day. If you can, drink filtered water. And of course, obviously, if you're having more activity, you're going to drink more. And definitely in the summer or when it's hot, you're going to be wanting drinking more because you are sweating. Yes. All right. You know you're dehydrated when your urine is very yellow, unless you're taking B vitamins, and then your urine's going to be yellow anyway. So you want that urine to be almost like a very pale lemonade color. You also know you're dehydrated if you're getting muscle cramps. You know you're dehydrated if you're getting a lot of chronic pain because of those fascial trigger points. So make sure you hydrate. Can't stress that enough. Now, what else messes up your fascia? Guess what? Emotions. Emotions are energy in form of motion. When they're not in motion, they become a problem. And we talked a lot about that with the Fab Five, so I'm not going to get much into that. But how does energy move through your body? When speaking of energy in and around one's body, it's often perceived as something mystical or unrealistic. People, oh, that's just woo-woo stuff. No, it's not. However, the body's energy is as realistic and as scientific as your muscles, your bones, and your body system. The energy within your body is directed to move based on your thoughts and your feelings and is carried throughout your body via a web of strong connective tissue called fascia. Ding, 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 ding. Fascia tissue can be thought of as the fiber optics of your body and are fluid-filled fibril tubules that move energy, envelop and isolate muscle, tendons, organs, and blood vessels to provide protection and support within the body. However, fascia is often like bands like this. And those, if you can see that, oops, this I was off center. You see those blue bands, how they correlate with your chakras. And those are your energy centers. Those blue bands are often where the fascia is extra tight. And if you have ever heard of Rolfing, and a Rolfus will work on those bands. And I'm in white tonight, because it's crown chakra night. So white for crown chakra. So often when your emotions are stuck in your fascia and in your muscles, there are common complaints. So if you have shoulder tension, it's often because you're holding burdens and responsibilities. Neck tension can be, it doesn't have to be, but it's often fear and repressed self-expression. Upper back can be grief, sorrow, and sadness. Middle back can be insecurity and powerlessness. Lower back is guilt, shame, and unworthiness, and stomach is inability to process emotions. So they've mapped this. There's all kinds of literature and research on this, where emotions tend to be held in different body parts. And a lot of it, as I said, those emotions come from thoughts, come from the words you use, from the experiences that you've had, and it gets traveled through your body, through your fascia, and then it gets stored in those, causing trigger points, causing dysfunction with the organs, dysfunction with other things. So your thoughts are very, very powerful. And I know I've seen various versions of this, but we'll go through it again tonight. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. And that was done by, you might have heard him, a guy named Gandhi. I think Gandhi knows what he's talking about. Yes, sirree. A key thing to having good self-talk, so that those words, those thoughts, creating energy through your fascia, a key thing is to stop them as they start. Stopping negative talk. I know, that's tough, it's tough, it's tough, but it really becomes a habit for a lot of people that we get into this self-talk, that's negative self-talk. So stop, change that talk. Change your mind. You want to practice positive thinking, practice positive self-talk, and be a great friend to yourself. Don't talk to yourself. You wouldn't talk to a friend like we often talk to ourselves. And I'm saying this because I was one of those people. I absolutely was one of those people. And that was the one thing that I decided to change. It was quite a while ago. We had just moved into this house, so I would say a good 20 years ago, probably a few years. And I was reading a book by Deepak Chopra. And I was struggling with depression, anxiety, and just not doing very well. And I realized that I really was doing a lot of negative talk. Now, that doesn't mean you're Pollyanna and everything is woo, wonderful, and you got your rose-colored glasses on and do. No, but when you have something that's not great going on, acknowledge it. You can express it, but don't unpack your bags and stay there. Yes, once you've felt it and released it, the Fab Five, you shouldn't need to necessarily talk about it anymore unless you need to, and if you need to, you need to. But when we constantly ruminate over the same, your body stores it. And even if you're kidding around, your body doesn't know the difference between what you mean for real and what you're kidding around with. So watch your language, watch your thoughts, watch your language. Get into the habit of stopping and changing them. And I remember it took me a good 3 weeks, and I would just stop mid-sentence when I caught myself saying something negative, and I would say, stop, cancel, and then I would rephrase it, and people would think, what is she doing? But I knew I was trying to change a habit. And usually a habit gets changed in 3 weeks if you're consistent with it. And I would say after 3 weeks, it became so much better. Am I perfect at it? No. But I'm pretty darn good. I really try to find the positive in everything. And, you know, the things that we can't do anything about, the weather. I mean, yeah, I'm supposed to go to a party tomorrow night in Hansport. I probably won't get there. But am I complaining about the weather? No, because there's not a darn thing I can do about it. So I'm just going to accept it, change our plans if we have to. We may not get to go. C'est la vie. I'd rather be safe and not have an accident than go. But we'll see. I don't know. The weather could change tomorrow. Who knows? So you never know what the weather is bringing. When you think about this, you think, oh, this is not what I wanted. But maybe it's what nature needed. You know, I read this or saw this somewhere that, yes, we have, I think it was something, it was someone shoveling, probably from Cape Breton, God love them. and they were shoveling away, and the caption came on, at least we don't have tornadoes, we don't have earthquakes, and we don't have alligators. So there's a blessing for our weather. Yes, there is. I know, it's not fun, but there's not a darn thing we can do about it. So why not change your perception or change your attitude towards it? Because every time you complain about it, every time you get upset about it, you are storing it in your body. And then you got to go and deal with that. So you can save yourself a lot of money by not having to go to your therapist as much, by just changing your thoughts. Now, Bruce Lee said it best. Careful that you don't speak negative about yourself, even if it's a joke. Your body doesn't know the difference. Words are energy and they cast spells. That's why it's called spelling. Ha ha ha. Change the way you speak about yourself and you can change your life. What you are not changing, you are also choosing. So if you're not changing your self-talk, you are choosing to self-negative talk. And if that's what you want to choose, if that's the way you want to be, then that's the way you want to be. There's nothing you can do about it. Until you decide you want to change, it's not going to happen. All right, so maybe, just maybe, this little saying, if you want to say it with me, might help. So today I release toxic thoughts and emotions. You can say this with me if you want. Unhealthy environments, unfruitful relationships, thoughts of revenge and unforgiveness, thoughts of envy and strife, negative words I've spoke about others, negative words I have spoken about myself. I let it go today, right now, and I live a life filled with love, peace, and freedom. As always, I will post these at the end. Later tonight, I'll put them in the comments. You can print them off if you want. Okay, settle in for your distance treatment. We're going to do a little scan of your fascia. I'm going to collect the group together, and any little clumps that I may or may not feel, I'll help you try to release them. Now, all your job is to lie there or sit there, wherever you are. Be very comfortable. Close your eyes. You can just focus on your breathing. But first, we need to ground. So that's hopefully you've been given enough time to get into your position. Make sure you're comfy with some pillows and maybe a blanket if you need it. Okay, now even if you're lying down, I want you to focus on roots growing out of your feet and dropping them down to the center of the earth. And I'm grounding as I say this as well, because it's important for me to be grounded so that I don't absorb anybody's energies. And if you're not grounded, you might absorb other people's energies, because we're going to go together, we're going to meet together in the quantum field where we are one consciousness together. So we don't want to take on other people's stuff. And remember that you are responsible for the energy that you bring into the quantum field. So leave all those cares and woes that you might have, leave them back, and just step forward into the quantum field with me, but be grounded. All right, so let's take a few seconds to ground. Grow the roots out of your feet down to the center of the earth. Feel heavier into the surface you're on. Okay, I'm going to set the intention that I'm working with a group that I have live with me tonight, and anyone who might be watching this video in the future. So I'm bringing you all into the quantum field with me. And now I'm going to scan your body. I'm starting at the head. And anytime I feel a little tangled ball of yarn or a clump of fascia that's not moving that well, then I'm going to work on it. So I'm on someone's jaw. So I needed the jaw, needed to be released. So I'm just kind of dialoguing with that tissue. There I go, till I feel this release. Now I'm going to the other side of the jaw. It's probably the temporal fascia, the mandible, the maxilla, the mandible fascia, the maxilla, because that's all very tight there. There we go. I got to make sure I stay on fascia and not go to bone, because my osteopathic hands will take me where I need to go. Okay, now I'm down in the cervical fascia, and that's your neck, and I'm just unwinding it, softening it, find any areas that are tangled, get them flowing. There's a couple trigger points in there that I'll try to release. There we go. Now I've got flow. Going down to your shoulders, I'm in the trapezius fascia, the trapezius muscle and its fascia, and I'm just working through the left side. I know it looks like the right, but I feel it in my left hand, so I know that's the left side. Okay, there we go. And now the right side is going to show me some area to release. Good. And just scanning your arms. I'm working on the left bicep. There's a couple trigger points in there, so we'll just take those and work on those. And the right bicep has a few trigger points in them. It's so quick when I do it distance, because I'm working on your fascia, but from the energetic realm, from the quantum field. So it's very quick. Good. And now down in the forearms. This is on somebody's just above the wrist. Good. In the hands. And now the left wrist. Good. Now I'm coming back up to the torso, just below your armpits here, chest and back. Just sliding down through the lats and taking it in the front and the back, just scanning back and forth, looking for any tangle balls of yarn. Oh, So I'm in the thoracolumbar fascia, and there's a whole bunch of, this is a big, thick ball, just above your left hip, kind of in your upper low back. There we go. Now we'll check the right side. Now that right side is a little lower, and I'm just untangling that big ball in your thoracolumbar fascia. Okay, now going to the glute med, glute min. Good. Fascial iliacus. Ooh, left side's pulling me in deep, and there's a nice big trigger point there. Right there. Good, 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 good. Now on the right side, ooh, the right side took me more to the glutes and the posterior chain of the fascia. There we go. Good. Sliding down. Okay, I'm going to take both hands down your left leg, going through the quad and the hamstring, working on some trigger points in your your left quad, sorry. You may feel this, you may not feel anything. That's okay. Just let me know at the end if you do feel it, because I'm always curious. Working on a trigger point in your left hamstring close to your knee, going down, past the knee. Now I'm on the tibialis anterior on the left leg, working through that, going down, down, down. Good. Working through a little bit more fascia around the ankle, a couple trigger points there, and opening up the foot. Feeling for any areas that might be tight there. Once I get that expansion, retraction, we're done. We move on. So now I'll go down your right leg. Oh, got some trigger points in the quad. That's the front of your thigh. There we go. And also in the back, your hamstring group. Going to release those trigger points. Good. Down closer to your knee. There on your right side, there's just a kind of a horseshoe of a whole whack of trigger points there. I'm just going to release them. And again, energetically, it just goes ping, ping, ping. Releases very quick. And where the gastroc or the calf muscle connects, I'm just working through that tension. There we go. Sliding down into the belly of your calf muscle. And, oh, I got to go deeper into the soleus. So there's a trigger point on the medial side of your soleus on your right leg. There we go. And down, a little bit into the Achilles tendon here, just the fascia that surrounds that. It's got a couple things going on. And now I'm in through your foot. And there we go. Good. Not much going on in the right. Well, no, I got to go back. I just got pulled back. The right foot, medial side. There we go. There. Okay. That feels good. Nice. All right, I'm going to disconnect from you, and then I'm going to disconnect everybody that might be in this quantum field. And the way you'll disconnect now is to bring your hands to your heart and bring your attention to the space behind your heart. Connect to there. Take a couple deep breaths in. Now start to imagine those roots growing out of your feet, down to the center of the earth. Good. Now take your time to sit up. You might be a little dizzy. And we'll just do some butterfly taps. We'll do a little havening. Nice. One more. And we'll just tap your thighs. Good. And just lift and lower your heels. Good. And then once again, grow those roots out of your feet down to the center of the earth. I want to make sure everybody's grounded so you're not connected with anyone else. We good? All right. I like to finish off with a little saying. Be careful how you are talking to yourself, because guess what? You are listening. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right. Thank you for joining me for our eighth night together. I may not be going to that party tomorrow, but I still think I'll skip a day and do it on Sunday, just in case we do happen to go. So our last night, which will be Movement That Matters, will be Sunday night at 6 o'clock. And I hope you can join me for that last one. I've been thrilled with so many people have been joining me. Again, maybe make a comment in the comment section and let me know if you were able to feel that distance, and let me know how you feel maybe tonight, later tonight, or tomorrow morning. I know I got a message this morning. Thank you very much for sending that message. It's always good to hear of some positive results that you're getting from this. I had a gal pop up to me, up to me after class this morning and tell me how much she's enjoying. She's not been able to do them live, but she's been doing them after, and she's getting great results. So that's why I'm doing this. If I can help one person, I'm a happy camper. All right, take care. Have a great night. Bye-bye.